Good morning. Welcome. This is a quick check-in from Speak Up, Reach Out. I'm Molly Fury, the program director, and we have
I'm Erin Ivy, the Executive Director for Speak Up Reach Out. We hope you are all taking care of yourselves. We just wanted to check in and go over a few things and reminders as we're going through this new landscape all together.
great. So a few things that we wanted to share with you this morning. First is, what are you doing for mental wellness, or how is your mental wellness going? For some of us, it could be like, I'm doing really well with this. I've actually had time to spend more time on my mental wellness, and I feel like I'm in a really good spot. Other people, it might just be, it's not good. I'm not having the space to do anything. And so wherever you're at, certainly it's okay, wherever you may find yourself today. But we just wanted to maybe throw out some suggestions and just kind of do a check-in. How is the mental wellness going? I find mine's a little bit like this. Some days I feel like I got this thing, and then the next day I am not good. I am, soothing myself with chips and chocolate, and that's just the best that it can be that day. So a few things that I'm doing almost every single day. One is being able to walk, and I know that we're kind of doing walks differently these days, and that we do need to be physically distanced from other people. Some of us have easier access to that than others. So a daily walk, to get outside, to see the sunshine when it's out. It's time that I really do my inner work. So I go through this thing called acts every day, which I acknowledge, for me, my spirituality. I acknowledge God, and then come into what are the things that I really want to let go of right now? Have I been judging? Have I been angry? And just kind of release those, and then go through gratitude. What am I grateful for today? And then this is where I ask for help. What prayers am I asking for myself, and then those for others. And so that time in that space in the morning is really helpful for me to start the day that way. Also, next to it is a picture of naan, which I have not thought of myself as a cook ever in my life. I messed up making rice once. That's how bad. But I've found this is one way that I can really relax. I really struggle to relax. And I find that I do find my mind relaxing when I'm cooking. So I've been cooking quite a bit. So those are a few things that I've found are helping me during this time. How about you, Erin?
Yeah, so I think I'll go over a couple things that have really worked for me, but first I want to acknowledge that one of the hardest things I think about right now is that one of the ways that we're all connecting with each other is via social media. And it's really, really easy to compare ourselves and what we're going through with what other people are going through. And I listened to a podcast the other day on something called comparative suffering. And it's really the point of that conversation was that we can't allow ourselves to compare our suffering to somebody else's, or not allow ourselves to feel what it is that's going on for us, because we think somebody has it worse. Now, it's okay to be grateful, and it's okay to say, oh, but I don't have it as bad as somebody else. But I just want everybody to understand that whatever it is that you're feeling right now is okay. And I guarantee you are not alone in that feeling. So don't allow social media. That's my number one thing for how I am protecting my mental wellness, is not allowing social media to dictate how I feel. And that's really takes a conscious effort to, one, limit how much time I'm spending on social media. I am using it to reach out, but I'm also using other methods. The other thing that I think has been incredibly helpful for me, besides getting outside, is being very intentional about my day, and planning what I need to do or what I want to accomplish. And that may, on some days, look like I just need to get a load of laundry done. That's it. That's all I feel like I can accomplish or I want to accomplish today. And on some days, it looks more like a full schedule of things for work that I need to accomplish to share with the community, or to get stuff going and keep the world moving as far as Speak Up Reach Out is concerned. So being very intentional about how I'm showing up every morning and continuing my regular routine has been vital to my mental wellness. Instead of letting my tasks run me, I get to be running my own life. And then something that has been another piece that's been really helpful for me, is taking time for a yoga or meditation practice every day. I use the Down Dog app for yoga, and they have generously, this is not an ad, but they have generously opened up all of their services, and everything in their app right now is free. So it's a great way for beginners through advanced individuals to get some short or long practices in. I know a lot of the yoga studios in Eagle County, including some of our big supporters, Yoga Off Broadway, are doing different practices and have discounted rates for their virtual classes right now as well. So that's really helped calm my mind, which then I'm actually getting sleep, which means I'm actually showing up the next day better. So those are the things that have been working the best for me.
Great. So just the time to kind of check in and see how is it going. Again, as Erin said, nobody ever got a feeling wrong. So wherever you're at is okay, and know that you're not alone in finding this challenging some days as well. So a few protective factors, in this time when we are physically distanced and more isolated, we want to do the best that we can to protect ourselves and protect others from suicide in particular, for sure, but just also from loneliness and some of those other things that can go along with feeling isolated. So a few things that we can do. Messages of hope are so powerful right now that there is a lot of fear messages out there. I think a lot of the news is very fear-based. And so as much as we can do to post messages of hope and connection, that can certainly be protective. Reaching out, there's a lot of, with technology today, there's a lot of ways that we can do that. Send a text to somebody. Maybe make it a fun thing. Hey, I'm going to record a 30-second video and I'm going to send it to somebody every day. Just telling them hi and showing them something funny. Video your pet. People tend to just love the pets. And I think that's one thing that we're really enjoying on Zoom meetings is seeing people's pets. So those are all things that you can do. Just those little messages, those check-ins are so well received and can mean so much to somebody who may be alone right now. That we definitely have people who are, at home by themselves, and those check-ins can be huge. If you are worried about somebody, that they're not acting themselves, or maybe that they've struggled with suicide in the past, or mental illness, and you're worried about them, you want to be as direct as possible. That tends to be the most helpful. So get on the phone, call them, and just tell them very directly, hey, I'm worried about you. I haven't heard from you, and that's not like you. I'm worried. Are you having any thoughts of suicide? Just asking that very direct. I think that could be quite helpful. Also letting people know that they're not alone and that they are so loved and there are resources. The number one in Eagle County is the Hope Center, 970-306-HOPE. You can also do the National Suicide Lifeline or Colorado Crisis Services. A very quick Google search can pull those numbers up as well. The National Suicide Lifeline, 1-800-273-8255 is good wherever you may find yourself. Again, I think it's so important right now. We just tell people that we love each other. that, maybe those, we can't always see it and maybe with our faces right now, or not able to hug and express it that ways. But just letting people know, checking in with your family, your close circle. I love you. You matter to me. What's going on? How are you? And again, being very direct if you're worried. And we'll talk about other ways that we can connect during this time of physical distancing.
So another thing that is part of protective factors that we wanted to discuss, and this came up in a presentation that we hosted last week, but we thought it was really important to share again. So thanks to Sally Spencer Thomas for sharing this little tidbit with us, but we wanted to bring it to more of you. And that's building out your A-team or your social safety net. And right now, whatever you're doing, drop it. And we want you to identify 3 to 6 people who would answer your call no matter what time it is, no matter what the situation was. People who bring out the best in you, and people who really, or maybe they've been there for you in the past. And we want you to identify who those people are. And then we want you to, one, let them know that they're part of your A-team, like that they're part of what makes you you. They're part of what makes you the best person that you possibly can be. And so when you let them know that they're part of your A-team, that could be just with a caring message that they, thanks for being there for me, and I hope you are doing well, or something like that. But also let them know that, like, hey, I'm counting on you to help me when I'm struggling. And one of the things that Sally mentioned was, like, maybe have a code word. So if you text the word gorilla to this person or anybody on your A-team, they know that, like, this is go time and I need your support. So how can you build out your A-team? Who are those people? And then make sure they know who they are and that you're counting on them. And then hopefully they will do the same and build their A-team and pick people who they can count on, and so on and so forth.
Great. So how can we connect when we're physically distanced? I think I'm seeing so many different creative, fun things to do right now. One thing, my family, my parents who are in Breckenridge, my brother, sister-in-law, and nephew who are in Vermont, we tend to not be really good during the winter. Most of my family's in the ski business, so we're not really good about being in touch with each other. But we've been doing a Zoom happy hour twice a week, which has been fantastic, and I think something that would be loved to continue with them. And so whether it's Zoom or Google Hangouts or just doing FaceTime, whatever whatever you have access to, but maybe do a happy hour or have dinner. Again, people are living alone, and I'm sure it could be, getting to the point it's just hard to having all your meals by yourself. So maybe host a Zoom and you guys can sit and eat dinner together and chat, or you can do a watch party and, watch a movie and you can kind of laugh and interact together. Also, as we talked about, just those daily check-ins can be so huge. Positive messages, we talked about that one as well. And also, I think being mindful of what is coming into your mind, your body, and your spirit. I've heard a few people saying that they don't turn on the news until noon, that they want to spend their morning time filling up, doing some of those yoga or meditation or a walk, or putting something that's going to be positive and really life promoting before watching the news. I think sometimes there's a tendency, if you're living alone, like you just want the noise and you kind of want that. It feels like company. And so maybe you have the news on in the background. And is it that kind of, is it any kind of toxic messages that are just continually going in, or does it make you feel anxious listening to the news? I think some of the news is very helpful. I'm not saying all of that, but some of us can leave us feeling kind of a sense of overwhelm or anxiousness. So just paying attention to what you're allowing in and when you're allowing it in, and is it life promoting or is it life limiting? And being mindful of that. Erin, you want to share a few?
Sure. So, although now you have to do this with a mask if you want to participate in this one, but my sister had a great idea. Her whole, the street that she lives on in her neighborhood, they all went outside and sat at the end of their driveways, and they had a bingo game on their street. So, first of all, you're just like hollering and screaming at each other across the neighborhood and across the street, which I think is super fun and gets a lot of pent up energy out. But I thought that was a super cool idea. I've seen a lot of different cool ways that people are celebrating birthdays via Zoom or different things. My cousin-in-law got to participate in a birthday party, and what they did was everybody had to got a picture of a cake that they had to recreate in their kitchen for this girl's birthday, and then they submitted them all, and the birthday girl got to pick which one was her favorite. But they only had 2 hours to recreate some really intricate cakes, which I thought was a really fun idea. Again, just to get people thinking out of the box and doing something different. I know Cards Against Humanity has released on their website a family-friendly version of their card game that you can print out and play. And I think too, it's just really important. I go back to, what are you taking in, and being mindful of that. And then one of my favorite things about all of this is getting to see the photos and learning more about my friends. One of the things that I think social media got away from and why I hated it so much for a while was actually learning about the people that I was friends with on social. And so getting to see the photos, people have been posting their baby photos as compared to now. People have been answering, the 40 questions that you might not know about me. So I think it's just fun to learn more about my friends and family. And I've been really trying to reach out to 1 or 2 people a day that maybe I've lost contact with, and just let them know that I'm thinking of them. I have a lot of time to think. So think about a lot of different people and memories and people that maybe I wish I hadn't lost contact with. And it's not necessarily to rekindle our friendship or anything like that. It's just to let them know that they've been on my mind. So those are some of the things that I think we can do to connect. And I think too, just remembering that taking care of yourself is okay. And reaching out and letting people know you care is really okay. And just on the protective factors too, Molly, I forgot to say this earlier, and I want to swing back to it real quick. Another resource that's really helpful for right now, when you just need a little bit maybe peer support or some tips and tricks on how to help yourself, is nowmattersnow.org. They have a lot of different little tasks and tips that you can take on right there in your own home, and have proven to be really effective.
One other quick thing that comes to mind, one thing that Erin and I talk about, and we do at Speak Up, Reach Out all the time, is language. Language can be so incredibly important. And, what words are we using? I have it up on the screen here. I'm seeing it now, but we're not really social distancing at all. We are physical distancing. And so maybe thinking about it that way, we're not trying to socially distance ourselves. We're trying to socially connect the best that we can while being physically distanced. Another thing is this idea of like, oh, now I'm working from home. There's all kinds of expectations that come from working at home, that you have a home office and that you have a routine and that you're productive from 9 to 5. And really, that's not what most of us are doing right now. Is we're not working from home. What we are doing is doing the very best that we can do to continue to work and do our jobs while physically distancing. And so just maybe that idea of, hey, it does not need to be perfect. We know that not everybody's going to have their office or be their personality designed to be able to do this well. Some people have been working from home for a long time, so they're used to that. So just again, in that language there, or this idea of homeschooling. again, that we think
Yeah.
maybe we have some ideas of what homeschooling means, and that we have lesson plans and we're creative and we have all these activities and we have recess time and craft time and math time and it's all like flowing. My guess is that's not what's happening. That again, we're not really homeschooling, right? Not all of us are teachers and really want to take this on. But what we're doing is doing the best that we can for our kids in a time of physical distancing. Um, and so again, not to have all those expectations. And I've heard too that, it's really not about keeping your kid, on par academically, that our teachers will get our kids back up to speed. That's what they're great at. That's what they love doing. And that will certainly happen, but just doing the best that we can, letting our kids know that they're loved, that they're not a burden right now, that it's, that we're grateful to have time. We're grateful that they're safe. And again, maybe it's 1 hour of school per day. And then the rest, hey, we're doing the best that we can. Maybe there's going to be more screen time right now. All of that, okay. But again, just being mindful of our language and knowing that we don't have to be perfect in any of these realms.
I mean, let's be honest. I can't even figure out working with a 9-month-old puppy in my house. So more power to all of you who are killing it at home with your kids. So the last thing that I wanted to talk about just briefly is that there is so much dichotomy happening for all of us right now, I think. And a friend of mine shared this image today on social media, and I thought, my gosh, this sums up in one slide really where I'm stuck. And that it's okay to think, yes, I'm grateful, but still be disappointed about things. Still be realistic about things. We get to enjoy more time, but gosh, I know a lot of people are feeling overwhelmed by being stuck in a house with people all day long, and that's okay. And we can be hopeful, but also know that things are, seem to be falling apart for a lot of people. And that we can be supportive, but also need to fill our own cup. And I think that that's really, that last one is really where I come from. We have got to take care of ourselves to be able to help take care of other people. And when people come to me and say, hey, what can I do? I want to volunteer right now during this time. I want to be able to help. The number one thing I can say is, one, take care of yourself. Ask for help if you think you need it. Know you are so incredibly loved. And then help somebody else understand all of that for themselves. So that's my big ask of you all today. And Molly, I appreciate you jumping on this morning with me and sharing, what's true for us. So what else do you have to share?
I love this idea of yes and. Yes, we can be physically distanced and more socially connected than ever. Know that you're not alone. You may be feeling alone, but you're not alone. Please speak up, reach out to each other. If you need somebody to talk to, connect with one of the many ways that we can all connect with each other. Again, the Hope Center, if you're feeling overwhelmed with anxiety or not feeling safe, reach out to the Hope Center. You can do Colorado Crisis Services, which have a warm line if you're just feeling like, I'm just having a hard time and I just really need to talk to somebody right now. If you're having any thoughts of suicide, certainly the National Suicide Lifeline. You can reach out to faith communities. There's a lot of online services going on right now. Your A-team on social media, all those ways. But please know that you are so loved. You're not alone, and we're all doing the very best that we can with what we have. And the best that we can do is connect in all those ways and speak up for what we need.
And all those resources are on our website, speakupreachout.org. We hope you have an amazing rest of your day and week.
Thank you. Hope you all have an amazing day, and we look forward to connecting with you guys moving forward.